Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Ask Ron. This is Ask Ron number 16. Hope you all like my sweet Walking Dead shirt. Yeah, greatest show on TV right now. If you want to ask me what my favorite TV show is, I think you know the answer now. Okay, got some more questions from you guys, so let's get rolling here. Jersey asked me, why did you not compete in the recent NPC Nationals? Easy, I would have gotten my ass kicked badly, horribly. I'm not delusional. I know exactly where my physique stands. So my tentative plan is 2020. I would have to hit all 3 shows in a row where masters are eligible to turn pro, which would be Team Universe, Master Nationals, North American. Realistically, if I'm still doing this job at that time, and you know, we're talking about almost 3 years from now, so I don't think I'm being negative and assuming that maybe I will, maybe I won't. You know, who knows what's going to happen. I don't think I could compete while I was doing this job because the show coverage, as we do it, it's very involved. You know, you're sitting there in the press pit doing play-by-play on all these competitors, taking pictures. You don't have time to eat. So those weekends would really throw a huge monkey wrench into any contest prep. You know, just for example, this Nationals I just did, one day of the judging, the first day of the judging, I was in that press pit from 10:30 in the morning. The judging started at 11, didn't end until almost 9:30 at night. I was able to eat some bars in that time, drink some water, some coffee, have some nuts. Did not have time to eat any meals. Could not leave that press pit the whole time. That's just how it is. Contest coverage is rough. I don't do that much of it compared to some people. Some people are at every damn show, every damn weekend, like J.M. Mannion. I mean, but still, I wouldn't even dare to try to compete while I was still doing this job. And like I said, I know where I stand. Open Men Nationals or USA, something like that, I would get my ass handed to me. I would get destroyed. But that being said, 2019 in September I'll turn 50. So I would be eligible to do over 50 in those master shows in 2020. If I was properly supplemented, I could put on a little bit more size, obviously, and I can get into great condition. So maybe I would stand a chance. Maybe, going up against genetic superiors, I don't really have any chance of winning. I know that. But, I would still try my very best. I've beaten a lot of those guys before on condition. And I could still beat a lot of them on condition. Because a lot of people won't suffer and get into that type of condition that you need to at the national level, even at the Masters. And especially the Masters, they don't play around. These guys get into shape. These guys who are over 40 or 50. For the most part. So that's most likely when I will return to the stage. Next question. This is a good question, this next one. I've actually thought about answering this before on my own. Fabian Jim Food asked, how do you feel knowing so many big pro bodybuilders? I mean, it must be hard. As a normal guy who eats good and trains regularly, you can get big and be bigger than most people you know. In my case, I only see pro bodybuilders on screen, or maybe at FIBO here over in Germany once a year. How can you still be motivated going to the gym if you're surrounded by guys who are almost twice as wide? Is it still tough or just something you get used to with time? I'll be very, very honest with you guys, and I know this is how this sounds too, is I sort of envy a lot of you guys out there who are never around pro bodybuilders. A lot of you are the biggest guys at your gym, and most of the people you're probably the biggest, the freakiest human they've ever seen, and you're not, some of you aren't even as big as me. Yeah, I have to be around, I'm around the biggest people in the world. I'm around guys like Jose. I mean, I'm around the very biggest pros when I go to these shows, and I'm used to it because I've been working in this industry since 1991. I've been around the very biggest guys you can imagine. Dorian, Nasser, Flex Wheeler, on and on and on, so I'm used to being around them, but no, I'm never going to be that size, and I'll never be able to compare to them. They're always going to be at a whole other level because, people talk about drugs, it's all drugs. Drugs definitely make a huge difference, no doubt about it, but genetics It's when you get guys with great genetics, then you put them on drugs, that you get these freaks that are almost another species. They're not like regular people, regular guys. And, you know, I have, maybe my genetics are a little above average. There's certainly nothing special. So all the drugs in the world wouldn't make me look like, you know, these guys that are up on the IFBB stages. They're just a whole other animal. So, you know, does it discourage me? No, I would have quit training long ago if it bothered me that much that I was never going to look like that. I'm happy enough. I'm happy that I can have as much muscle as I do have. You know, a lot of people would never be able to even build as much muscle as I did, and I understand that. And I'm grateful for that. You know, I'm grateful, even though I have all kinds of injuries, you know, I could talk all damn day about. You know, I'm still grateful that I can train. I can still do a lot of exercises. There's things I can't do anymore, unfortunately, but I'm still able to train. I still love training. But yeah, I'll be honest. It does kind of suck at times that, you know, people make fun of me because, you know, you always have to run people and out angle everybody. Well, you know what? You don't take pictures with guys like Jay Cutler or Jose Raymond on a regular basis. I do. And, you know, like I said, a lot of you guys get to be the biggest person that anyone you knows has ever seen. Whereas everyone I know is pretty much in this industry. So, you know, they've seen the biggest bodybuilders on earth. They've stood next to them. And, you know, they're not impressed. I'm not going to impress anybody. I'll never be that big enough to impress anybody that I know. You know, I do the best I can, and I don't really compare myself to those guys because I know that they're just a whole other animal. They're a whole other species. They're not like you and me. They're not. So I don't let it really bother me. Did it bother me in the past? It bothered me more, yeah, obviously. You know, I'm older now. I'm 48. I've come to terms with, you know, I might be able to get a little bigger than this if I bumped up certain things. I'm sure I could get a little bigger, but I'm not going to get a lot bigger. So, you know, that ship has sailed. No regrets. You know, whatever. It is what it is. But being surrounded by guys twice my size, yeah, I'm pretty much used to it. And like I said, I'm being honest, as bad as it sounds. I do envy a lot of you guys because, you know, you don't have those people around you, and, you know, the people you know, they're impressed by you. The people I know, they're not impressed. But you know what? I'm a writer. I'm an editor. I'm this. I'm that. So I was never going to be an awesome bodybuilder. I figured that out a long time ago. And you know, this is going to sound bad too, but you know, I make my living off my brain. A lot of these guys, they come and they go. You know, they get injured. They have health problems, financial problems, legal problems, personal problems. So I've outlasted so many of the guys in the industry that I've known. So many of them have come and gone, and I'm still here. So, you know, I can look at some of these guys and I know that I was there before they were here. I'm still going to be around after them too. So I'm just grateful to have a career in the industry and this longevity that I've enjoyed. I've been working in the industry full-time since 1991. Still going. So here we are. Last question today. Bill 2 wants to know, I would like to know your methodologies about contest prep, diet, and training. After all those years in the trenches, so much experimenting, what works best at last? Parentheses, carbs, macros, carb manipulation, fats, protein, cardio, training, etc. To come in ripped with no loss of muscle. I've talked about this before, but the very best way to make sure you can get into contest condition without losing a lot of muscle, and just to get into condition, period, is to never let yourself get too out of shape. I find that the people that stay in pretty decent condition, they don't have to struggle as much. I found, you know, to get into shape. And I found definitely that to be the case with myself is, you know, over the years, as long as I stay fairly lean, where I can always see my abs, my intercostals a little bit, some muscle separation all the time, I know it's not going to be that difficult to get into contest condition if I wanted to. I like to be about in the condition where if I had to get into shape in, you know, 16 weeks or maybe even 12 to really push it, I could do it and I wouldn't lose a lot of muscle. Whereas in the past I used to get really heavy, sloppy, and I would diet down, and every time I would end up losing muscle. And I would also diet down and be shocked and saddened at how little muscle I had, because when I was all bulked up with fat and water, I assumed what I was looking at in the mirror was there was more muscle underneath all that than there really was. And if you stay pretty light, pretty tight, and pretty lean, you always know what's going on. You're always aware of what your physique really looks like. So it's not a mystery what's going to happen when you diet down. You know, you'll look leaner, you'll look more shredded and all that, but it's not like you're counting on this illusion that wasn't the reality. So, you know, I can't really say what works best in terms of high carb, low carb, how much cardio to do, because everyone's different. Everyone needs to figure that out, or hire a coach to help them figure it out. Some people are going to need to do a lot more cardio. Some people won't need as much. You know, like my buddy Goon, doing a lot of cardio is the worst thing possible for him. He's got a very high metabolism. Doing a lot of cardio just eats away at his muscle, no matter what else might be going on in his program. For myself, I found it took experimentation to find out how much cardio I needed. So it turns out to be about 30 to 40 minutes a day when I'm in prep, usually 6 times a week. I don't do double sessions anymore. Fasted cardio seems to work the best for me. Although I still get pretty good results if I do my cardio right after training, you know, with just having like a whey protein or branched chain aminos, something like that, no carbs, in between the weights and the cardio, and then I go right into fat burning mode. But you know, it's different for everyone. It really is. It's like people ask me, how many calories should I be eating? How many carbs should I be eating? You know, what should my macros be looking like? I don't know. You know, you can start with a certain amounts, see what happens as the diet goes on, and you adjust accordingly. But you can't plan out, and no coach could even plan out exactly how you're going to eat and how much cardio you're going to be doing. You need to watch what happens to your body, see how the fat loss is coming, if your muscle is staying or if you're losing muscle. You know, these are all factors that need to be considered, because we're all different. Some people respond very well to carbs. Other people, they can't lose fat unless they go very, very low carbs. Like keto works very well for some people. For other people, it doesn't work as well. Just a fact. You know, we're all different. We're all individuals. So, but as far as getting in shape, I think the one constant that would work for just about everybody is to never get too out of shape. The leaner you stay, and I don't mean you have to stay contest condition or very, very close to it, but like I said, you should always be able to see your abs, your intercostals, I mean your serratus, whatever you want to call these, and some muscle separation. If you get heavier than that, especially if you get to the point where it's just a big blob and you can't see any muscle separation, contest prep is going to be very difficult for you. And unless you're going to load up on everything in the kitchen sink, you're probably going to lose muscle. And I've seen many cases where guys were on plenty of drugs and they still lost muscle. So, you know, having to go really low in calories and having to do a lot of cardio, it's bad news. It's gonna cause most people to lose muscle. So the key is, don't ever get too out of shape. If you stay pretty lean, pretty tight, contest prep's going to be a lot easier, and you'll definitely be able to hold on to your muscle. Well, that's it for this edition of Ask Ron. I hope I've answered your questions. We'll continue to answer them as you send them in. Talk to you next time.